In today's video, we're looking at the history of the LPT, the original concept, and where we are today. In 2008, we set out to build a better dump trailer experience. Thus, the 8-inch I-beam low-profile design was born, ultimately becoming the LPD, which took hold across the industry. It was the new industry standard. Many brands latched on and made their version of that type of trailer. In 2016, it was time for the next step. We had noticed the telescopic design had been used in semi-dump trucks and in-dump trailers for many years, and it knew it was the ultimate dumping power, like the ultimate push power right from the front of the trailer. It had actually been used a little bit in our industry by various manufacturers up in the Northeast, and we had begun getting requests from some of our dealers to integrate that telescopic design into some sort of dump platform. And we thought, my gosh, the only way we could do it, the best way to do it, would be to integrate it into the low profile I-beam design, which again was the pioneer in the market of doing that. And then the LPT was born. The LPT marries those two things, which is low profile I-beam design, awesome user experience, being able to easily load equipment into the back of it or over the side, plus ultimate dumping power right on the front of the dump trailer, the ultimate leverage. And that brings us to where we are today. Behind me on one side, I have a basic LPT with only a couple of options, and on the other side, I have a loaded out LPT. So we're gonna take a look at these and walk through and give you a frame of reference from basic to bad to the bone. Even though we have two very different trailers here, from basic to heavily optioned, there are a couple of key aspects that both designs share that are very vital in the success of the design and the customer experience when using the dump trailer. We're going to start with the basic one and look at the side and the dump body construction as well as the frame. The top rail and side supports are what we're going to look at first, in that, you know, the normal industry standard for many years has only been 2 inches wide, and you can see the extra depth in the side. And what that means, it sounds like it's not a lot, but when you go from 2-inch standard to what we have here is 4 inches wide, you have a much more rigid side, and it's going to stand up to the test of time when loading debris, rock, gravel, dirt, you name it. It's going to stand up a whole lot longer to the test of time. And when we do the 4-inch wider top rail, like you see, it allows our side supports to be that much deeper and wider, giving you a wider footprint on the side of the body, thus again helping the body stand up to doing work day in and day out every day. That design, no matter if it's the standard 24-inch sides like seen on this one, up to 44-inch tall sides, is the exact same. Additionally, when we're talking about how the dump body is constructed, we have to look at the center seam design. Over the years, we've learned that having the seams in the corner is a bad thing. There's many manufacturers who boast, we have, a single piece floor, and that's all great, but the problem is the seams are stuck in the corners. And if you do not keep them cleaned out well, over time it can be a habitat for rust to set in, because we all know that over time, as you're loading gravel, concrete, things like that, the coating starts to be deteriorating, and rust can set in those corners. So we keep the seam out in the middle. That's step one. Step two, there are some manufacturers who do have the seam in the middle, but they butt the floor sheets together, because the way that the material is cut and the way it's available, you always have to have at least 2 sheets to make up the dump body. In this case, ours has 2. It's the top rail, comes over for the side, and then goes over for the floor. So instead of butt welding those together, which seems to be okay when it's brand new, but over time, when you're loading it heavy and stuff, you can begin to see daylight as those sheets pull apart. So on all Diamond C dump trailers, this one, the more basic one, and the heavily optioned one, the sheets overlap at a minimum of 2 inches and stitched on both sides, front to back, and that gives you a much more robust floor, and one that's going to last and stand the test of time as it's being loaded over and over and over. Another primary feature that these two trailers share is the telescopic cylinder. As we mentioned, in-dump trucks and semi-dump trailers have used the telescopic design for decades, and that's for one simple reason: straight up pushing power on the front of the dump trailer. When you're looking at a scissor lift or dual cylinders under the body, they're at such a disadvantage when they're under the body to get the load moving, because they're almost trying to push themselves apart or push the trailer apart to get going up. Whereas with the cylinder on the front of the trailer, you have ultimate dumping leverage at the push of a button because it's pushing straight up. It doesn't matter if you load the load in the bed or the gravel or dirt just so evenly distributed with a telescopic, because it is pushing straight at the front. When you're talking about a scissor lift or dual cylinders, you have to be careful, because if you load it too front heavy, it becomes difficult to lift. Therefore, the telescopic is just a much better customer experience when somebody's using a dump trailer day in and day out. The next key aspect that these two trailers share is the low profile I-beam design. Looking at the standard LPT, we use an 8-inch by 10-pound structural I-beam frame. As you move up in GVWR, it's still the low profile I-beam design, but it transitions to our signature engineered beam technology frame. So the engineered beam technology still gives you the low profile design, but it allows us on the GVWR upgrades, the heavier duty trailers, to put the metal really where it counts the most. Instead of taking what would be the next size up structural I-beam like our competitors do and like we did for many years, it allows us to really control the height of the beam, the thickness of the material, and it's custom formed, custom fitted, custom engineered per the length of the trailer, per the weight rating, per the number of axles. All of those things are taken into consideration to build the optimum frame for each dump trailer. In true Diamond C fashion, the LPT has a ton of options available. This cement gray LPT, we're going to take a look at and see what all options have been added to it. On the website, you can jump on there, cut it up, and be able to build an LPT to kind of fit your work or fit your lifestyle. So let's take a look at this one and see. Starting at the front, this one has the Gooseneck package. All of Diamond C's Gooseneck packages have dual jacks, no question. We're not going to allow our customers to have that bad experience of trying to unhook from a single jack Gooseneck trailer. It's just not a good experience. So in this case, talking about jacks, this one has dual Stillwell hydraulic jacks. The cool thing about a dump trailer hydraulic jacks is it works off of the exact same pump. So you have one pump that powers the jacks as well as the dump body. Next, we're going to look at the sides on this one. This one has 32-inch sides, and the available side heights are 24, 32, and 44-inch sides, depending on the job you're going to do. If you're one hauling more dirt and gravel and heavy aggregate, the shorter sides will suffice for you, just because you can so easily load it to capacity as dense and heavy as aggregate is. But if you're hauling more debris and trash and things like that, the taller sides are great, or mulch even, the taller sides are great because you need the cubic volume, but you don't necessarily need a lot of weight capacity. So additionally, this one has the 7-gauge Super Duty body package. The standard, like on the red trailer we see here, is a 10-gauge body. Some manufacturers actually still build a 12-gauge body in this class of trailer. And to us, it's kind of crazy because it's just not meant for heavy duty applications. So 10 gauge is awesome, and it works for the majority of folks out there. But if you know your jobs are tough, you know you're doing concrete demolition, you know you're hauling gravel, using it day in and day out, the 7 gauge is a really awesome option because it thickens up the body, the sides, and the floor, and makes your body of your dump trailer hold up and last a lot longer. The cool thing, we've got this little sticker here that shows you, if you're shopping on a dealer's lot and you see this sticker, you know the trailer's equipped with 7 gauge, but it also gives you a frame of reference. Our small line here is 12 gauge, the middle line is 10 gauge, and the big line is 7 gauge, giving you, and those are true to size, giving you a kind of a sight glass into the thickness of the material, showing you, it is that much thicker. So next, this one has the 3/16 super heavy duty fenders. Again, kind of a cheap insurance type upgrade to me, and I say that because if you've ever been around 14 gauge fenders and when a trailer's being worked day in and day out, those can end up, they're going to get hit, they can be run over if it's on an equipment trailer, all kinds of stuff can happen to 14 gauge fenders. So The 3/16 fenders are great because when you hit something with these, or you hit these with something, whatever you hit it with is probably going to be tore up worse than the fenders, I can guarantee you. They're pretty stout. This trailer has the 20K GVWR package, and that includes two 10,000-pound Lippert torsion axles that come with the Valcrum aluminum caps, a 215 17.5 16-ply tire and wheel combination. Super heavy duty. This trailer is rated to carry about 13,000 pounds in this configuration, and the GVWR setup is definitely there to support it. Lastly, this one has the board bracket and raised front option. It kind of goes with the sides. The cool thing is it gives you a little bit of buffer up top, so if you're loading over the side constantly, you're at the rock pit or at the dirt pit, and those guys, you know, they're really not watching what they're doing. They tap that board with a bucket. It's a whole lot better than if they're hitting your powder coat on the side with the bucket. It gives you a little bit of a, again, a buffer. You can replace the board a lot easier than you can repair that top rail. So it's a good option. It also gives you just a little bit more cubic volume in the body of the dump trailer. The evolution of the LPT has been an incredible journey. As a company that focuses on innovation and fueling the growth and success of our customers, the LPT is a prime example of that. Jump on our website. There you can build an LPT to fit your needs. As you've seen here, tons of options available to fit the job you do and the lifestyle you live.